to Leaders in Action. I'm Robin Termingham, and my guests today are Olderhood CEO Bill Story and Amoti Nyabongo, who is Olderhood Senior Advisor. Welcome, Amoti.
Hi.
So what are we chatting about today?
Change on the fly, or change in the midst of change.
Okay, so how is that different from plain old vanilla garden variety change?
Okay, and it's very simple concept. The old garden variety of change was you were trying to implement change in a stable environment. You had all your bells and whistles ready to go. You had all your ducks in a row, and the world was a better place. Guess what? That in itself has changed. So the goals and objectives that were once the mainstay, your core competencies, which were your mainstay, may have changed. So to be relevant, to bring value to the market, you have to adapt on the fly. That's pretty much it.
You know, I'm not so sure that I would agree that things were better in what I'm going to call the bad old days. Don't you perhaps view change as a sign of progress?
Well, yeah, first of all, let me build it from the individual up. One of the things that I've realized is that change is inevitable. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. The second thing is you can either be the victor over change or the victim of change. And that's all dependent on your mindset. So when you're a leader and you have a group of folks following you, whether it's a formal structure, whether it's an informal, it might be a club, it might be a social gathering of some kind, because of the world we're in now, with social distancing, with healthcare protocols, and the uncertainty of what tomorrow's going to bring, you still have to keep moving forward. And this is where change on the fly comes in.
Do you think people resist change because it challenges their need to feel in control all the time?
Yes and no. Yes and no. First off, without knowing what the outcome may be, change can appear risky. And risk is basically not knowing what the outcome is after a certain set of actions or triggers. The second part is that there are certain people who do embrace change, who do like to see things change up and restructure and get a fresh perspective. What you have two human emotions playing out. You have people who are comfortable with the new and the different, and they always like something fresh and exciting and new. And then you have those folks who just want it to be stable, the way it is, the way it has always been, what they've come to know, feel, and enjoy. So how does this play out? You may go to a restaurant, and if you embrace change, you say, you know what, give me something I've never had before. You ask the waiter, what do you recommend? And based on that other person's decision, they go with it. Whereas if you go to a certain restaurant, you go to that restaurant just for this slice of pizza or this type of burger or this type of salad, because you don't want that change. You want something that you know what the outcome is going to be.
I have to tell you, I love this analogy because I've always had a policy that if the waiter brought me the wrong meal, I was going to try it just because I wanted to see what this thing was like that I never would have ordered. And you know, I've had some of the best meals of my life that way.
Exactly. You know, and it's funny because there are people who deep down inside want to take more risk in their life, but because of their situation, because of their setting, because of, you know, whatever their economic situation is or whether their family responsibilities are, they can't go out because, you know, it's not just them in the sling. You know, for example, if I were single, wild, free, 20 years younger, there'd be a million things I'd be out there trying to do, but I can't because I'm no longer in that so-called situation. So my risk taking, I have to have a cognitive process to go through before I say, okay, you know what? I think I will have the pizza. Okay. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, so is that resisting change, or is that being a pragmatic decision maker? Bill, what do you think?
Well, I think change is dependent on one of two things. It's either change from within yourself, where you decide, you want to change, that you must change, whether that means going on a diet or stop smoking, stop drinking, whatever that you decide, or particularly in the workplace where change is thrust upon you, so that you have to change because the lady that runs the place is going to tell you, you ain't doing that no more. That's change. That's external change. And the difference between internal and external change, I believe, causes psychological swings and roundabouts. So that if you decide to change, in theory at least, you should be comfortable with that. The problem is when somebody tells you you must change, there is a natural resistance. There is a, why should I do that approach and attitude? So I think one has to be very clear as to whether we're talking about internal change or external change, because the difference can be the difference between happiness and depression.
So it sounds to me like what we're really having here is a discussion about perception of a situation. If you perceive this as a negative, bad change, then it's going to be challenging. You're going to resist. It's going to be difficult. But if you come at it from the point of view as, oh, this is an opportunity to stretch myself, to try something new, to go where I have not gone before, I would like to bet that it's an entirely different experience for you. What do you think?
I think you're right with that respect. I mean, my personal perspective on change is that it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to become better. It's an opportunity to learn some new things. It's an opportunity to test your creative abilities. It's also the idea that when things change, you wind up in a new environment. If sometimes you just got to get out of bed and go out and see what's out there. If you never get out of bed, you don't know. And if you don't get out of bed, nothing's going to come to you but strange looks from your family members, like, what's wrong with him? So you're right. The mindset, the approach, what are the benefits of change? Some people can't see past the change and realize, well, wait a minute, if I do this, I'm going to travel. If I do that, I might be able to make some more money. Or if I do that, my schedule might free up so I can do some of the things that I really want to do. So how we look at change, how we expect or what we don't expect, we kind of have to follow through on it. We have to kind of see where it takes us. But you only see after you've taken that first step.
I think in a lot of ways, the phase that we're going through is quite similar to what new arrivals to America faced when they decided to cross the prairies, more than 100 years ago. Think about it. They were in their little wagon and they had their possessions and their family around them. And every day they knew they were heading somewhere. And they never knew what the day was going to bring. But rather than losing their minds about it, what did they say? Well, we'll know when we get there, when we arrive. And today we're just going to get up and do whatever happens and make progress. I don't think we can stop talking about change too much as we go through the next year. And I'm sure we're going to have this topic again on the show. You've been watching Leaders in Action. Join us again soon.